coldest, driest, and most isolated place on Earth. A land where no one truly lives, and yet it has captured the imagination of explorers, scientists, and conspiracy theorists alike. Despite its emptiness, there are whispers that something more lurks beneath the ice. Out of all 7 continents, Antarctica is the most mysterious. It's a place where very few are allowed to set foot. Why? Is it simply to protect this pristine wilderness, or is there something they don't want us to see? Some say the icy continent hides ancient civilizations buried under the glaciers. Others claim secret military operations take place far from prying eyes. There are even those who believe extraterrestrial visitors have left their mark here. And then there's Operation High Jump, a massive military expedition led by the United States in the 1940s. Officially, it was a mission of exploration, but rumors persist that something much darker took place in those frozen waters. Secrecy surrounds this place like the ice itself, forming an impenetrable barrier. So why is the world's least visited continent also the most tightly controlled? What are they really hiding? In this video, we're going to explore the many mysteries of Antarctica. From hidden bases and ancient relics to chilling conspiracies that question the very history of our world. As we journey into the unknown, we'll ask the question, why won't they let us visit Antarctica? Are we ready to uncover the secrets of the frozen continent? Antarctica is a place unlike any other on Earth, a continent so vast yet so untouched that it feels like another world entirely. Its icy surface hides secrets that have fascinated explorers, scientists, and dreamers for centuries. But what is it about this frozen land that draws people in, despite the dangers, the isolation, and the cold that can kill in minutes? For most of human history, Antarctica was a mystery, a blank spot at the bottom of maps. Early civilizations had no idea it even existed. For thousands of years, stories of a great southern land, Terra Australis, filled the imaginations of ancient geographers. They believed that somewhere, far to the south, there must be a vast landmass to balance the continents in the north. These were just stories. Until the 18th century, when explorers ventured further south than anyone before them. Captain James Cook, one of history's greatest explorers, set sail in 1772 to find this legendary continent. But after months of sailing through treacherous seas, battling towering icebergs and brutal storms, Cook came no closer to finding the land he sought. Instead, he turned back, convinced that if there was a southern continent, it was far too dangerous and inhospitable to ever be explored. Even as late as the 1800s, Antarctica remained untouched. The frozen landscape defeated all attempts to reach it, but that only made it more alluring. Explorers became obsessed with the idea of being the first to conquer this last great frontier. It was a place of endless challenges, a land that seemed to defy human ambition. The names of those who dared to challenge Antarctica are etched in history. Ernest Shackleton, Robert Falcon Scott, Roald Amundsen. They braved impossible odds, surviving on the edge of death as they pushed deeper into the unknown. One of the most legendary tales of Antarctica is the story of Ernest Shackleton's doomed 1914 expedition aboard the Endurance. Shackleton's goal was to cross Antarctica from coast to coast, something no one had ever done. But the icy seas had other plans. The Endurance became trapped in pack ice, and eventually the ice crushed the ship, leaving Shackleton and his men stranded. For nearly 2 years they battled freezing temperatures, starvation, and exhaustion. Yet despite the odds, Shackleton led his men to safety. The expedition failed, but their survival against impossible odds became one of the greatest feats of human endurance. But not all stories of Antarctica end in survival. In 1912, Robert Falcon Scott set out on a race to be the first to reach the South Pole. He and his team marched for months through brutal conditions, knowing that Norwegian explorer Roald Amundsen was racing them to the same destination. Scott's team reached the South Pole, but they arrived only to find that Amundsen had beaten them by weeks. Defeated, they began the grueling journey back to their base, but none of them would survive the return. Scott's final diary entries reveal a man facing his death in the most desolate place on Earth. His last entry simply read,
"It seems a pity, but I do not think I can write more."
Despite the tragedies and failures, the allure of Antarctica only grew. What was it about this frozen wasteland that inspired such courage, such obsession? Perhaps it was the very fact that Antarctica was so unknown, so unclaimed by civilization. It represented the last great challenge, a place that humans could not tame. Today, Antarctica is still a place of mystery. Even though scientists now live and work on the continent, its secrets remain locked beneath miles of ice. The harsh environment keeps most people away, but for those who do venture there, Antarctica offers clues to our planet's past and perhaps its future. Scientists have discovered that Antarctica holds records of Earth's climate dating back millions of years. Buried deep within its ice are clues to past ice ages, mass extinctions, and even the future of our climate as global temperatures rise. Antarctica is in many ways a time capsule preserving the history of our planet. But it's not just Earth's past that's frozen in the ice. Some believe that Antarctica holds evidence of something far older, perhaps even evidence of ancient civilizations or extraterrestrial life. Satellite images have revealed unusual shapes buried beneath the ice. Some claim these are structures not natural formations. These images have fueled theories that Antarctica was once home to an ancient, advanced civilization, a civilization that was buried when the continent froze over millions of years ago. Could it be possible that an ancient city lies beneath the ice, waiting to be uncovered, or perhaps something even stranger? And then there are the stories of military interest in Antarctica. During the Cold War, Antarctica became the focus of several secretive missions, most famously, Operation High Jump. Officially, this massive U.S. military expedition was a scientific and exploratory mission, but rumors persist that it was something far more sinister. Admiral Richard Byrd, who led the operation, reportedly encountered something during the mission that he never fully explained. Some claim he discovered hidden bases or advanced technology under the ice, possibly remnants of a Nazi escape, or even evidence of extraterrestrial visitors. Could it be that Antarctica, with its isolation and secrecy, has become a testing ground for hidden technologies? Or is there something far more otherworldly happening beneath its surface? Antarctica remains, to this day, a place that defies explanation. Its harsh beauty conceals both natural wonders and unexplained mysteries. For centuries, it has drawn people to its frozen shores, not just for science, but for the possibility that it holds answers to questions we haven't even begun. Antarctica is the only continent on Earth without a native population, no cities, and no countries fighting over its land. But that doesn't mean it's free from control. In fact, Antarctica is governed by one of the most unique agreements in human history, the Antarctic Treaty. Signed in 1959, the Antarctic Treaty was a groundbreaking moment in international diplomacy. 12 countries, including the United States, the Soviet Union, and the United Kingdom, came together and agreed that this frozen continent would belong to no one. Instead, it would be used for peaceful purposes, dedicated to science and free from military conflict. Today, more than 50 countries have signed the treaty, pledging to uphold its principles. The rules seem simple: no military activity, no nuclear testing, no claiming territory. Instead, Antarctica is reserved for science and research, a continent-wide experiment in peaceful cooperation. But some believe there's more to the story. After all, why would the world's most powerful nations, often at odds, suddenly agree to leave this vast, resource-rich land untouched? Antarctica is the fifth largest continent, covering an area nearly twice the size of Australia. Beneath its ice lies one of the last unexplored frontiers on Earth. Some say the treaty is a way to protect this land from human interference, but others wonder if it's a legal smokescreen, designed to keep the world from seeing what's really happening at the South Pole. When the treaty was signed in 1959, the world was in the grip of the Cold War. The United States and the Soviet Union were locked in a race for global supremacy, both willing to go to extraordinary lengths to secure strategic advantages. And yet, in the middle of this tense standoff, these rival superpowers suddenly agreed to work together on one of the most remote and resource-rich places on Earth. The official explanation is that Antarctica was too valuable to destroy with war or exploitation. But some believe the real reasons are much deeper and much darker. The treaty states that Antarctica is to be used exclusively for peaceful purposes, especially scientific research. But beneath this peaceful facade, many have speculated about what's really happening under the ice. Some conspiracy theorists claim that hidden military installations are buried deep beneath the ice. These bases, they say, are secret outposts built during the Cold War, places where military experiments, forbidden by the treaty, still take place. Officially, there are no military activities allowed in Antarctica, but with such remote locations, who could really know for sure? Research stations dot the continent, operated by dozens of nations. These outposts are essential for studying climate change, biology, and the history of our planet. But some people believe that not all of these stations are what they seem. There are zones in Antarctica that are completely off limits to the public. No tourists, no scientists, no one. The reasons given are often vague, citing environmental concerns or safety risks. But conspiracy theorists ask, why these specific areas? What is really going on in the most inaccessible parts of the continent? Some even point to satellite images that show unexplained structures beneath the ice. Could these be remnants of ancient civilizations, alien artifacts, or perhaps secret military bases long hidden from view? The treaty's strict rules on military activity and territorial claims have led some to speculate that Antarctica could be the site of secret experiments that no one wants the world to see. In the years before the treaty, nations tested nuclear weapons in some of the most remote places on Earth. Could Antarctica have been next on their list? The treaty's ban on nuclear testing raises questions. Was it simply a way to protect the continent, or was there something already there, something that needed to be kept secret? The treaty also bans mining and resource extraction in Antarctica, but the continent is believed to hold vast reserves of oil, gas, and minerals. Some have speculated that the treaty is simply delaying the inevitable, a global race for these valuable resources once the environmental protocols expire in 2048. On the surface, Antarctica is a place of peaceful cooperation, a rare example of nations working together for the greater good. But beneath the ice and behind the treaty's diplomatic language lies a continent still full of mysteries. For some, it's a land of science. For others, it's a place of hidden agendas. As we approach 2048, when the treaty will be renegotiated, one question remains. Will Antarctica remain a place for science and peace, or will the world's powers find new ways to exploit its hidden resources? The Antarctic Treaty may be one of the most important agreements in human history, but its true purpose remains shrouded in mystery. Is it simply a tool for governance, or a cover-up for something far more secretive? Antarctica is unlike any other place on the planet. A frozen continent, covered in ice so thick it hides mountains, valleys, and ancient secrets buried for millions of years. This remote and desolate land is home to some of the most extreme conditions known to man. Temperatures that can drop below 900 degrees Fahrenheit, winds that rage at over 200 miles per hour, and a sun that disappears for months at a time. And yet, despite the cold, despite the isolation, life persists here. Hardy plants and unique wildlife have adapted to survive in the world's harshest environment. But with such a fragile ecosystem, strict measures have been put in place to protect this frozen wilderness. Antarctica is often described as the last pristine continent, a place where nature has been left largely undisturbed by humans. International laws, such as the Antarctic Treaty and the Protocol on Environmental Protection, are in place to ensure that this fragile ecosystem remains untouched. But is the drive to protect Antarctica really about conservation, or is it a convenient excuse to limit access to one of the most mysterious places on Earth? Antarctica holds 90% of the world's fresh water, locked away in ice that's up to 2 miles thick. The sheer scale of this frozen desert is mind-boggling. But it's not just the ice that scientists are interested in, it's what lies beneath. Buried under that ice are ancient lakes, untouched ecosystems, and perhaps even secrets about Earth's past climate. Scientists have drilled deep into the Antarctic ice, pulling up ice cores that date back hundreds of thousands of years. Each layer of ice is like a page in a history book, telling us about Earth's climate in the distant past. Through this research, we've learned about ancient ice ages, volcanic eruptions, and the shifting balance of Earth's atmosphere. This research is critical for understanding how our climate has changed over millennia and how it may change in the future. But with all this focus on protecting the environment, Some wonder if the true goal is to preserve Antarctica's natural beauty, or to control who gets to access its hidden resources. Every year, a select few are allowed to visit Antarctica. These tourists follow strict rules. They can't leave trash behind, they can't disturb the wildlife, and they can only visit specific areas for limited periods of time. Only a handful of companies are authorized to offer these trips, and the cost is astronomical. On the surface, these rules are meant to protect the environment, but there are large sections of Antarctica that are completely off-limits not just to tourists, but to anyone. Vast areas of the continent are designated as restricted zones, inaccessible without special permission. The reasons? Often vague explanations like environmental sensitivity. These restricted areas fuel speculation. Why are these regions of Antarctica so tightly controlled? Are they really protecting fragile ecosystems? Or is there something else hidden beneath the ice that we're not supposed to see? Take Lake Vostok, for example, one of Antarctica's largest and most mysterious subglacial lakes. It lies more than 2 miles beneath the surface, completely cut off from the outside world for over 15 million years. Some believe it could contain ancient, undiscovered life forms, creatures that have evolved in complete isolation, in total darkness, in an ecosystem unlike any other on Earth. In 2012, Russian scientists drilled into the lake, breaking through the ice after decades of preparation. But the results of their findings remain largely secretive, with only fragments of information released to the public. What did they really find beneath the ice? Beyond the research, there's another question. What else might lie beneath Antarctica's ice? Some geologists believe that beneath the ice, there could be vast reserves of oil, natural gas, and valuable minerals resources that the world could one day fight over. But for now, international treaties prevent any kind of mining or extraction in Antarctica. Is this a sign of environmental responsibility, or simply a way to keep certain nations from exploiting the continent's wealth? The international community insists that Antarctica must remain protected at all costs. The Protocol on Environmental Protection, signed in 1991, established strict guidelines for preserving the continent's unique environment. Mining, drilling, and exploitation of resources are all banned. But some wonder if these restrictions are just a temporary solution, a way to delay future conflicts over who gets to control Antarctica's hidden riches. In 2048, the environmental protocols will be up for review. Some believe this could be the moment when the treaty is challenged, when nations hungry for resources could push to open up Antarctica for exploitation. Will the world still agree to keep Antarctica untouched, or will the lure of wealth be too strong to resist? There's also the question of climate change. As global temperatures rise, Antarctica's ice is melting faster than ever before. The melting ice not only threatens to raise sea levels, but it also reveals more of the continent's hidden landscapes areas that have been buried for millions of years. What might be uncovered as the ice continues to retreat? But are these calls for protection purely scientific, or is there something else at play? So, is the push to conserve Antarctica really about protecting one of the most delicate environments on Earth? Or is it a convenient way to keep the rest of the world out? Is there a reason why so many areas are off-limits? Why is this land, so full of promise and mystery, so carefully guarded? Antarctica is more than just ice and snow. It's a continent that holds secrets of the past, and perhaps secrets that are yet to be revealed. And as the world's interest in Antarctica grows, so too do the questions. Antarctica, a place where nothing is supposed to happen. A land of peace, protected by international agreements. But some believe that beneath this frozen surface, there are secrets hidden. Military operations that go far beyond peaceful research. During World War II, and throughout the Cold War, the world's superpowers were locked in a tense struggle for global dominance. It was a race for technology, for power, and for control. But while most of the world focused on Europe, Asia, and the Pacific, a different kind of battle may have been unfolding far from the spotlight on the icy shores of Antarctica. At first glance, Antarctica seems like the last place any nation would want to establish a military presence. It's remote, desolate, and unforgiving. But for those who study the history of covert operations, this isolation makes it the perfect location for secret bases, places where experiments, hidden technologies, and classified projects could be carried out far from prying eyes. There are areas in Antarctica that remain heavily restricted, even today. Officially, these areas are off-limits to protect the environment or for scientific purposes. But could these zones be concealing more than just ice and snow? One of the most persistent rumors surrounding Antarctica's hidden military activity dates back to the 1940s, during the height of World War II. It's said that Nazi Germany sent expeditions to Antarctica, setting up secret bases beneath the ice. Officially, these missions were for exploration, mapping out new territory in a region called New Swabia. But conspiracy theorists claim the Nazis had a more sinister purpose in mind. According to these theories, the Nazis believed Antarctica could serve as a perfect stronghold hidden from the rest of the world, where they could continue their experiments and possibly hide advanced technology. Some even claim that after the fall of the Third Reich, high-ranking Nazi officials fled to Antarctica, where they maintained secret bases and continued their work in isolation. While much of this remains speculation, the story doesn't end there. After the war, both the United States and the Soviet Union took a keen interest in Antarctica. The US government launched one of its largest ever military operations in the region, Operation High Jump, in 1946. Operation High Jump was led by Admiral Richard E. Byrd, a famed explorer. Officially, the mission was to test equipment in extreme conditions and to conduct scientific research. But the sheer scale of the operation, 4,700 men, 13 ships, and multiple aircraft has led many to believe there was something more going on. Admiral Byrd himself made cryptic remarks after the mission, hinting that Antarctica held new challenges for the United States and that future wars might be fought there. Some believe Byrd and his team encountered something unexpected during the mission, perhaps remnants of a Nazi base or even something more mysterious. While no country officially claims Antarctica, multiple nations operate research stations across the continent. These stations are supposed to be for scientific research only, but some believe they serve a dual purpose. Could some of these bases be fronts for military operations? It wouldn't be the first time research stations have been used to conceal military objectives. History shows us that remote, harsh environments are often chosen for secret projects. Take Project Iceworm, for example, a top-secret US military operation during the Cold War. Deep beneath the ice in Greenland, the US built a series of tunnels and bunkers designed to house nuclear missiles, hidden from the Soviet Union. If such a facility could be built in Greenland, why not Antarctica? Antarctica is home to several restricted areas, places where even military aircraft are not allowed to fly. Officially, these zones are meant to protect sensitive ecosystems or scientific research projects. But some ask, why such tight security? In 2018, a strange radar anomaly was detected under Antarctica's ice. Some believe this could be evidence of a massive underground structure hidden far below the surface. Others speculate that it could be a secret base, perhaps even built by a foreign power. But what exactly is down there remains a mystery. For decades, the Antarctic Treaty has ensured that the continent remains free of military conflict. But has it also been used to hide covert activities? The treaty itself forbids military installations, but its remote nature and the harsh conditions make it nearly impossible to verify what really goes on beneath the ice. Antarctica, the coldest, most isolated place on Earth, a frozen wilderness where nothing should survive. But for decades, rumors have swirled that this icy continent hides something far more mysterious than the ice itself. Stories of extraterrestrial bases, ancient civilizations, and unexplained phenomena have fueled some of the most compelling conspiracy theories of our time. For years, satellite images have captured odd formations beneath Antarctica's thick ice sheets. These images show strange, seemingly unnatural patterns, long, straight lines, large geometric shapes, and vast areas that appear to have been carved out beneath the ice. Some say these are the remains of ancient cities or even advanced extraterrestrial structures, buried for millennia. Some theorists believe that Antarctica may be the location of a hidden alien base, an outpost left behind by extraterrestrial visitors who came to our planet long ago. One of the most intriguing pieces of evidence comes from Lake Vostok, a massive subglacial lake buried under more than 2 miles of ice. For over 15 million years, this lake has been completely cut off from the rest of the world, existing in total isolation. When Russian scientists finally drilled into the lake, they hoped to find new forms of microbial life. But some believe they've something far stranger. Official reports from the Lake Vostok mission were vague, only stating that bacteria was discovered. But rumors spread that something far more unusual was found beneath the ice, an ancient structure or even a base, hidden in the depths of the lake. Some claim that these are not the remains of any human civilization, but proof of an extraterrestrial presence, concealed for millions of years. Some researchers have pointed to strange heat signatures detected near Lake Vostok and other parts of Antarctica heat that seems to rise from deep underground. Interestingly, stories of a lost, advanced civilization in Antarctica aren't new. Ancient cultures spoke of a southern land, known as Terra Australis, a place where gods or powerful beings once resided. Could these myths be referring to a time when Antarctica was not covered in ice, but was home to a civilization far more advanced than we ever imagined? The Peary Race map, drawn in 1513, is perhaps one of the most mysterious pieces of historical evidence. This ancient map shows the coastline of Antarctica with incredible accuracy, yet it was drawn long before Antarctica was officially discovered. Even more puzzling, the map depicts the continent without ice. How could a map from the 16th century show something that, by all accounts, should have been impossible? Some believe the Peary Race map is proof that ancient civilizations once knew of Antarctica's true form, that perhaps, thousands of years ago, this frozen land was not so cold and lifeless, but thriving. And if advanced human civilizations could have existed here, what about visitors from other worlds? Reports of strange activity in the skies over Antarctica have only fueled these theories. Over the years, there have been multiple claims of UFO sightings, strange lights moving across the sky, objects that defy explanation. These sightings have been reported not just by tourists, but by researchers stationed on the continent. Some say these UFOs are proof that extraterrestrial visitors have been coming to Antarctica for years, possibly even maintaining a hidden base under the ice. Others believe these objects are advanced technologies, far beyond what we currently understand, left behind by ancient visitors, or still in use by beings we cannot comprehend. Adding to the mystery is the high level of military interest in Antarctica. Despite the Antarctic Treaty banning military operations, there are frequent reports of unmarked aircraft, unusual military exercises, and restricted zones across the continent. Some believe that deep beneath the ice, in the most remote parts of Antarctica, lies the truth. Whether it's an ancient lost civilization or an active extraterrestrial base, the evidence is tantalizing and it's kept just out of reach. Governments claim that these areas are off-limits for environmental reasons, but skeptics ask, is it really about protecting the environment? Or is there something far more valuable or dangerous beneath the ice? While official channels dismiss these theories as pure fantasy, leaked documents and first-hand accounts tell a different story. Antarctica remains a place of endless mystery, a frozen land where the boundaries between science fiction and reality blur. In 1946, just a year after the end of World War II, the United States launched one of the largest and most mysterious military expeditions ever undertaken in Antarctica. Officially, it was called Operation High Jump. Its stated goal? To test equipment in extreme conditions and conduct scientific research. But for a mission supposedly about science, it was heavily armed and tightly controlled. What was the real purpose of Operation High Jump? Operation High Jump wasn't just a small team of scientists. It was a massive military undertaking. Over 4,700 men, 13 ships, and 33 aircraft were deployed to the frozen continent. Led by the famous polar explorer Admiral Richard E. Byrd, the operation lasted from 1946 to 1947. But the sheer scale of the mission raised eyebrows. Why send such a large force to a supposedly uninhabited and peaceful place? Admiral Byrd had already gained fame for his daring flights over the South Pole, but this mission was different. In interviews, Bard gave cryptic statements about what he hoped to achieve in Antarctica. He hinted at new challenges the US military might face in the future, even suggesting that Antarctica could be key to controlling future global conflicts. What did Byrd mean by this? Was he simply referring to the strategic importance of Antarctica, or was there something deeper, something more secretive he encountered during the mission? Some believe Operation High Jump was about more than just testing military equipment. According to conspiracy theories, the US government may have been searching for something hidden beneath the ice, something left behind after World War II. Some rumors even suggest that the Nazis had built secret bases in Antarctica, and that Operation High Jump was launched to investigate and possibly eliminate these hidden outposts. During World War II, Nazi Germany had conducted its own Antarctic expeditions, claiming a section of the continent called New Swabia. There were even whispers that the Nazis had built underground bases there, hidden beneath the ice. After the war, many high-ranking Nazi officials disappeared, and some speculated they had fled to remote regions like Antarctica. Was Operation High Jump designed to hunt down remnants of the Nazi regime, or was there something else buried in the ice? But the story gets even stranger. Some conspiracy theorists claim that Admiral Byrd's team encountered far more than abandoned Nazi bases. According to these theories, Byrd's mission stumbled upon advanced technology possibly of extraterrestrial origin hidden beneath the Antarctic ice. The story goes that the military encountered objects that could fly at incredible speeds, craft capable of navigating from pole to pole in a matter of minutes. Byrd's own statements following Operation High Jump only fueled speculation. In one interview, Byrd warned of the potential for an enemy that could fly from pole to pole with unbelievable speed. Was Byrd hinting at something his team had witnessed in Antarctica? Or was it just a hypothetical warning about future technology? Many of the details of Operation High Jump remain classified to this day. The official reports state that the mission was cut short due to harsh weather conditions, but skeptics have long questioned whether something more happened. Adding to the intrigue, there are reports that some of the equipment used in Operation High Jump was left behind, abandoned on the frozen continent. What could have forced a well-prepared military mission to retreat so suddenly? Was it simply the unforgiving Antarctic conditions, or did they discover something they couldn't explain? Since Operation High Jump, Antarctica has remained a place of mystery. The Antarctic Treaty, signed in 1959, ensures that the continent is used only for peaceful purposes, forbidding any military activity. But some wonder if the treaty itself is a cover to keep what really happened during Byrd's mission a secret. Could these hidden areas and restricted zones be connected to the strange events of Operation High Jump? What did Byrd and his men really encounter in the icy wilderness, and why has so much of the mission remained shrouded in mystery? To this day, the true purpose of Operation High Jump remains one of the great unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. As long as the full story remains classified, the questions and the mysteries will endure. Antarctica holds its secrets well, and for now, Operation High Jump is just one more unanswered question buried deep in the ice. Antarctica, a land of mystery and speculation. Over the decades, it has become the center of some of the most fascinating and far-reaching conspiracy theories. From secret military bases and ancient civilizations to extraterrestrial visitors and hidden Nazi outposts, these stories have captivated the imagination of millions. But are they true? Or is there a simpler explanation? The continent is remote, dangerous, and largely unexplored by the public. Skeptics say Antarctica's harsh environment and extreme conditions make it difficult to study, let alone visit. Most of the secrecy around the continent is due to the sheer logistical challenges of working there. Research stations are located far apart, and there's simply not much infrastructure to support a large human presence. While some claim hidden bases or secret operations, skeptics say that Antarctica is governed by strict international agreements. The Antarctic Treaty, signed in 1959, prohibits military activity on the continent and preserves it for peaceful, scientific research. But some wonder if this treaty is being used as a convenient cover for more covert operations. One of the most persistent claims is that certain areas of Antarctica are completely off-limits to the public zones where no one is allowed to go. The reasons given are often environmental or related to safety, but many question what's really going on. These restricted zones are typically in place to protect delicate ecosystems or preserve scientific research. In many cases, these areas are off-limits to prevent contamination or disruption of ongoing studies. But for some, this explanation is not enough. Antarctica is mostly barren and devoid of life, and people still wonder how an entire continent can be blocked off from the public. The unusual satellite images from Antarctica have sparked countless debates. Straight lines, geometric shapes, and unexplained heat signatures have led some to believe that advanced structures, whether man-made or alien, lie buried deep beneath the ice. But many scientists argue these anomalies can be explained by natural geological processes. Antarctica's ice sheet is constantly shifting, moving, and cracking. These straight lines and patterns could be the result of ice dynamics, not hidden civilizations. It's easy to look at satellite images and imagine there's something unusual happening, but we know that glaciers and ice sheets can form natural geometric patterns as they move and break apart. One of the most enduring mysteries is Operation High Jump, the massive U.S. military expedition to Antarctica in 1946. Officially, the mission was about training for cold weather conditions and conducting scientific research. But the sheer size of the operation, combined with Admiral Byrd's cryptic remarks about future conflicts, has led many to believe there was something more happening beneath the surface. Skeptics say Operation High Jump was a show of American military strength in a post-war world. The Cold War was just beginning, and the U.S. wanted to establish dominance in the polar regions. And there's no verifiable evidence that the mission uncovered anything beyond what was publicly reported. But what about the UFO sightings? Over the years, there have been reports of strange lights and unidentified objects flying over the Antarctic skies. Antarctica has unique atmospheric conditions. The ice and snow can reflect and refract light in strange ways, creating optical illusions. What might look like a UFO could easily be a natural phenomenon, like ice halos or mirages caused by the extreme cold. Even with these scientific explanations, few people visit, fewer still have access to its most remote areas, and the harsh environment only adds to the sense of mystery. It's a blank canvas where the human imagination can run wild. Antarctica is a land of extremes, cold, remote, and full of ancient ice. And while conspiracy theories will likely continue to surround this frozen frontier, the simplest answer may be that Antarctica's true mystery lies not in secret bases or alien visitors, but in its raw, untamed beauty and the challenges it presents to those who try to explore it. Antarctica, a continent of extremes, cold, desolate, and remote. But perhaps its greatest mystery lies in what we don't know. For decades, this frozen land has been the subject of countless theories. Hidden military bases, ancient civilizations, extraterrestrial visitors. Could such secrets really be buried beneath the ice? Throughout history, Antarctica has called to the bravest explorers and the most dedicated scientists. It's a place that seems to defy human understanding, its vast emptiness and brutal conditions only adding to its mystique. And with the continent so difficult to access, the unknown has always loomed large here. Some say these strange anomalies, hidden structures, no-fly zones, and radar blips point to something more. Could there be hidden bases, advanced technology, or even remnants of ancient civilizations? It's easy to let the mind wander in a place as vast and untouched as Antarctica. But the truth might be simpler and in many ways just as fascinating. Antarctica is a frozen time capsule, holding within its ice the history of our planet. The scientific discoveries made here are critical to understanding Earth's climate, its evolution, and possibly even the origins of life itself. Every sample, every expedition uncovers new insights into our world and its future. International cooperation keeps Antarctica a place of peace and research, but it also keeps it closely monitored. The Antarctic Treaty ensures that no single nation can claim this land, and that all activity here remains transparent. Yet, the continent's untapped resources and its strategic location mean that it will always be a place of interest and perhaps one day of conflict. For now, Antarctica remains a place of wonder, filled with unanswered questions. But maybe the greatest mystery of all is why we are so drawn to it, the need to uncover what lies beneath the ice, even when the answers remain just out of reach. Is Antarctica hiding ancient relics, alien bases, or secret operations? Or is the true mystery simply the vastness of the unknown?